Welcome to our channel. Today, we have the following news. Liu Yuning, the pain and resilience behind the smile. How difficult has Liu Yuning's life really been? The singer-actor, who today enjoys immense popularity on screen and on stage, has often been open about the hardships he endured before success found him. At one point, he was even strangled in public, and in order to attract attention during his early career, he once revealed that he had been slapped in the face by his ex-girlfriend. These details sound dramatic, almost exaggerated, but they underline the reality of a man who had to claw his way up from the bottom of the entertainment industry with no background, no resources, and no support but his own determination. I first became aware of Liu Yuning when he sang the theme song for the drama Tomb of the Sea. At that time, he seemed like a singer who had stepped away from acting, running around tirelessly, juggling small announcements and live performances in order to gain some visibility. Looking back, his path was anything but smooth. In 2015, Liu joined a music platform with his band, Modern Brothers. That modest beginning slowly opened doors for him, and he eventually started taking roles in film and television. To many outsiders, he looked like a lucky newcomer who stumbled into opportunities, but in truth, his journey was marked by years of hardship and personal struggle. As Liu Yuning's popularity grew, more stories about his past began to surface. Many drama fans first encountered him through his portrayal of He Xiaozi in Ultimate Note. Curious about this tall, deep-voiced actor, they looked into his earlier career and discovered that he did not come from privilege. On the contrary, Liu Yuning came from a humble background, and by the time he became widely known, he was already older than many of the idol stars rising alongside him. His story struck a chord with audiences because it reflected perseverance rather than instant stardom. Among the most shocking incidents from his early days was a public altercation. While live streaming, Liu once invited a female fan on stage to sing with him. Midway through the performance, a man suddenly appeared, allegedly the woman's boyfriend, who was reportedly insecure about the interaction. Without hesitation, the man struck Liu Yuning and even tried to choke him. Liu, despite the humiliation and the physical assault, continued to sing. The scene painted a vivid picture of how vulnerable and precarious his early career really was. At a time when he was still struggling for recognition, even such humiliations had to be endured with a smile. But his challenges were not limited to professional encounters. In his studio sessions, Liu Yuning openly shared about his past relationships, revealing stories that many would find both heartbreaking and absurd. According to him, he had 3 serious ex-girlfriends, each relationship leaving a different scar. One woman had a notoriously bad temper. After calling him short, she reportedly hit him and even scratched his neck. When colleagues noticed the marks the next day, Liu brushed it off, claiming he had fallen, an excuse that was met with laughter and disbelief. From that experience, he concluded half-jokingly that his future partner should be not strong and not talkative, otherwise she might hit or scold him again. Another girlfriend disapproved of his passion for singing and disliked his lack of money. At the time, Liu and this partner were running a small roadside stall selling roasted corn just to make ends meet. When they eventually broke up, he left the stall to her, walking away empty-handed once again. The third relationship was even more bittersweet. They had discussed marriage, but because Liu did not have enough financial stability at the time, the dream ended before it could begin. For most people, such stories would be embarrassing or too painful to recount. Yet Liu Yuning speaks about them with surprising lightness. He often tells these tales with a smile, his optimism leaving a strong impression on fans. While some critics argue that sharing such details might also have been a strategy to gain attention, the reality is that he managed to survive such setbacks without bitterness. For an artist with no powerful company backing him, who had to carve his own path step by step, this resilience is precisely what makes him admirable. Reactions from netizens have been mixed, ranging from humor to sympathy. Comments like "It's not funny, this man sounds like a pervert," Liu Yuning seems to have been abused by his ex-girlfriend, tall but not strong, and it wasn't easy for him to make money in the past reveal both concern and disbelief. Others find his stories almost comedic. His 3 love affairs are so funny, with both tragedy and comedy, especially leaving the corn stall to his ex. Or why does he look like a comedian when he tells these things? What emerges from these anecdotes is not just the image of an entertainer but of a survivor. Liu Yuning's life, riddled with humiliation, financial struggle, and failed relationships, has given him a unique toughness. Instead of hiding his scars, he uses them as part of his narrative, showing that even painful experiences can become fuel for growth. His optimism in retelling these moments makes him relatable to fans who see him not as a distant idol but as a man who has lived through very real, very human struggles. Today, when audiences see Liu Yuning performing on grand stages or acting in hit dramas, it is easy to forget the man who once sold roasted corn on the roadside, who endured being struck in public, who smiled even after heartbreak. His story is proof that behind every overnight success lies years of hardship, sacrifice, and resilience. And perhaps that is what makes Liu Yuning so beloved, not just his voice or his acting, but the strength behind his smile.